right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the U.S. Dropshipping Workshop. My name is Nicole Whitlock, and I am with eCom Sellers. So a little bit about myself. I am the creator of eCom Sellers and also the creator of Achieve Digital Marketing. I am a single mom. I do have two special needs teens. I will tell you, both of them are here. One of them might actually interrupt us. I apologize in advance. They have been out of school because, of course, it's the holidays. And, he just likes to talk to me randomly about any random thing. It could be math. It could be the fact that he wants to show me a string he found. Anyway, I just want to give you that heads up. I apologize in advance if they interrupt us. I'm also the vice president of a nonprofit. Our nonprofit specializes in serving and supporting families with special needs. This Thanksgiving, we were blessed to be able to help two families that were, in need of Thanksgiving meals. So I work a lot with the special needs community. In addition to that, I've been selling online since 2014, selling offline since 2008. I actually got started selling because I needed a way to make money to help my kids cover their expenses that insurance doesn't cover. So non-traditional therapies, special diet, supplements, just different types of things that insurance wouldn't cover or that I couldn't get help from because I live in the state of Texas. We are ranked lowest in services, which is really sad, but it's true when it comes to those with disabilities. And so anyway, and then my passion really is helping people in their business, helping them to get focused, get organized, get consistent, but also just helping them to become profitable. It's extremely important to me, especially working with moms with special needs kids. Around this time of the year, I do spend time with a group of moms that I help them just to jump into the e-commerce game for Q4, make money, and then they get out. Because again, their lives are engulfed in caring for their kiddos. And so this is a way to make some money, to use that for the next year's deductibles, the next year's summer camp, the next year's whatever. And I believe e-commerce is a great way to do that. That's how I got started. So in any case, that's a little bit about me. So today we're talking about drop shipping. Just want to give you just a little bit of information about drop shipping. So drop shipping is where you will not go out, but you will do research to find products that you most likely don't have in your possession, although sometimes you might actually have them. And you are finding these products and doing a little bit of research on these products. It's typically inventory you don't have. And that's the great thing about it. It's not in your possession. You don't have to manage inventory. It's not taking up space in a garage. It's not anything you have to touch. And so that's what I love about drop shipping. You'll partner with some third-party suppliers that they will take care of the item when it is purchased by your customers. So whoever that happens to be, and you can work with multiple suppliers. You don't have to work with just one. You can work with multiple suppliers so that you can make money, sell products and make money off of those products. So the supplier, the manufacturer, whoever, they will ship the product to your customer for you. So basically, the customer places an order in your store. If you're drop shipping on a platform, and you do have to do a little bit of research to figure out which platforms you can drop ship on, but without any challenges or minimal challenges. So if you have your store, your customer comes to your store or goes to the platform that you might be selling on, and they find a product that they like, they put it in the cart, they check out, they buy it. And there's typically, if you're drop shipping, there is a seamless transaction, goes over to the third party supplier. They get the notice, they fulfill the order. And then once they fulfill the order, they ship it to the customer for you. And then you get to keep the difference. So maybe with the supplier, you're getting the product at $70 and you've got it listed wherever you have it listed, whether it's in your store or you have it listed on a platform for $100, you get to keep the difference. Now, keeping the difference, that's subjective, I feel like, these days, because sometimes it also depends on if you got some extra stuff going on with, the supplier, or, shipping fees, whatever. You need to make sure you're priced right. That's the biggest part of this. But you do get to keep the difference of whatever you decide to sell that product for. So you're pretty much marking up a product that you find, whether it's in a catalog or whether it is, through a directory that you're looking at for suppliers that have products. That process, it takes care of itself, meaning you don't have to touch anything. Now, handling returns or refunds or things like that, there's probably going to be some level of you're going to be involved in it. Sometimes, depending on which suppliers you're working with, they have a straightforward step-by-step instruction on how to handle returns and refunds, and others may be a little more convoluted or complicated. But for the most part, that is sort of the crux of the drop shipping process. Now, there's a lot of different types of ways to do drop shipping, and this is not all of them inclusively, but this is like the first one is like product reselling. That's the most common. You're typically getting a catalog, or you're going to a site and you're going through a list of products. I normally will have my VA team go do research to find out, is this product already selling on a platform that I'm selling on? Is this product profitable? Can I drop ship this product onto that platform? If I can't drop ship it onto that platform, is there something else that I can do? Maybe if I'm going through a wholesale suppliers list, maybe I will order the product in bulk from the wholesale supplier and then maybe send it into a platform to do the fulfillment for me. That's not direct drop shipping, but sometimes you can have lists from drop shipping suppliers that they'll actually give you wholesale prices. And so you have to weigh whether or not it makes sense for you to drop ship directly from them and pay theirs, or order it in bulk and sent in. Like an example might be to send it into an Amazon warehouse, or send it directly into the Walmart warehouse or whatever, to have them fulfill it, fulfillment centers. But again, some of the products that you'll see with wholesale suppliers, some of those same products can be drop shipped. Okay. So when you're doing product reselling, there's international and there's domestic. International, you could either be working with an international supplier like AliExpress, and sometimes AliExpress will actually have products shipped into warehouses in the US. They did a lot of that during COVID-19, where they had a lot of product already in the United States, already in warehouses. So it made it easy if you wanted to drop ship. You can continue to work with AliExpress in that manner, finding out if they actually have the product already on US soil. Okay. Then there's also international drop shipping, meaning your customers, you're selling products anywhere. And so your products are being shipped to your customers wherever they are that are not in the US. So it goes both ways. Then there is domestic, where you are just focusing 100% on domestic suppliers. You're only looking for suppliers that have either inventory already in the US, or that they maybe produce, manufacture, create the products here in the US, or they've got a relationship with companies in the US where those products are made here. So again, a couple of different ways in which you can work the domestic angle. If you decide to do domestic, definitely do a little bit of research to find out, are they bringing the product in, like I mentioned before with AliExpress, and it's just here on the US soil, or are they actually making the product here in the US? Some of this is going to become important, hopefully, over the next 4 years, probably. And so knowing where that product is coming from, seeing if you're getting the lowest possible price for that product, so that way you can tack what you want for your profit margin to be on top of it, is going to be extremely important. Then again, there's wholesale and or business extension. Both of those are sort of partnerships. Sometimes you'll have companies that are smaller companies. They don't have a huge footprint, and so they are looking for someone to help get their products online. There are people who get exclusive relationships and do exclusive online help with their online presence and their brand and everything, because of the fact that they've kind of partnered with them. So I know, like, I think there's a product that I believe Becky Tim sells. And so she exclusively drop ships that product for this customer, whoever that customer is. They don't have a big presence online. She's listed it on Amazon. So that's an example of building a business extension, being an extension of the business or helping them increase their online presence. And then there's, of course, there's wholesale suppliers who will also drop ship, knowing who that is. And there's also manufacturers who will also drop ship. So again, being an extension of the business or using that to help you leverage creating a brand for yourself, or, just having the exclusive rights to that. Print on demand is another form of drop shipping. Print on demand is where you have an image or design or text or whatever that's superimposed onto a product, whatever that product happens to be, whether it's a coffee mug, t-shirt, hat, picture on the wall, whatever, phone case, pair of socks, anything. So print on demand is a form of drop shipping. And then product creation. So there are people like me who like to create bundles. And so you work on partnerships with businesses so that you can take a product that they're already making and make exclusive bundles. There's a process to do that and get the rights to be able to do that, so you don't have to worry about being sued later. And so again, creating products that, again, you are not handling, they're putting the bundle together for you. It's an exclusive relationship, makes it a whole lot easier. And then you can get it, you can list it on different platforms and sell it, depending on, again, if you're going to create a store or not. Okay. And when I say create a store, it could be a Shopify store, it could be a WooCommerce store. It could be, there's several, you could create your own WordPress store. Like it could be anything. Or, and then there's like ready-made sites like Wix or Weebly. Those are easy sites to build so that you can, put your products up that you want to drop ship. When you do that, you're going to have to drive some traffic to your store. So just know that, whether it's Shopify or some other tool, versus putting it onto a platform where there's already traffic. So you want to do your research to find out what you can and cannot do, especially when it comes to brands. And maybe if you build relationships and partnerships, you have the opportunity to use that to your advantage on some of the platforms that require approval. So okay, that's why you build the partnerships. So the pros and cons of drop shipping: low overhead costs, wide product offering. Typically, a lot of the companies have huge directories of products. My team has been working for a while. We did a lot of work last year for Canada. We worked with, I don't know how many different suppliers last year. And we got their catalog directory, and we would go out and look up some of the products, find the ASIN for the product. It's a lot of work, trust me. Do the research to look up the products, find the ASIN for the products, and then if it was on Amazon or whether or not it already existed on Walmart, and then see what it's selling for on those platforms. And if we can make a profit, then we would actually do product listings for people last year. We also, we would source those products for them. So in other words, they would create an account with a wholesale supplier, and then we would actually, manage their account. We did a full-on account management for Canada. We're working on that for the US. We've gathered, I don't know how many catalogs at this point. My inbox is really full, and we're going to be working on launching that in the US since we've done a full year of it for Canada, or a year and a half, I feel like. But anyway, again, that way we know what products are available. We know who the suppliers are who sell, whether it happens to be makeup products or products for little girls or home goods or automotive products. So again, there's so many different suppliers out there. There really is. And we've been, like I said, compiling that list and consolidating and revalidating it. But you can minimize your risk. That's sort of true to some extent, because again, you're not handling the product. Somebody else is drop shipping it for you. Somebody else is handling it for you. There's an asterisk there because again, sometimes it depends on who the supplier is, how much research you've done on who's actually doing the shipping for you. You can scale, definitely makes it easier and faster to scale, and location flexibility. So again, depending on where the supplier is, what they're selling, what they have available to them. That makes it a whole lot easier. If you're doing international, then location flexibility may not be as easy. Meaning, I can't sell if they don't offer the opportunity to ship it from Australia to the US or from Australia to, I don't know, Europe, then you can't use them. So, but you do have some flexibility. A lot of them will ship internationally. And so that's a good thing. The cons are, depending on how you run your business, low profit margins. Their profit margins for drop shipping historically have been slightly lower because, again, you're taking that baseline price and you're adding to it so you can get a profit out of it. Sometimes you can find products that are priced well enough that if you found it for, I don't know, $5.99 and you decide to sell it for $15.99. Sometimes that works out. And if it's an in-demand product or it's a popular product, that's great. That's why I love bundles, because again, I have a better opportunity to increase my ROI and I don't have to worry about low margins. You do have some competition. There are people who get into the dropshipping game. Sometimes they don't stay for long. They do it for a little while, then they get out. But there is competition. So again, being able to find those products where there's not as much competition, or finding those suppliers who have a unique product that you can sell or source and sell, always something to think about. Lack of control over the supply chain. That is so true. Again, if they're getting their inventory from, I don't know, China or somewhere else, and they're running out of stock, something happens and the boat tips over in the ocean, like, you don't have any control over those things if you are having your inventory shipped over from China or Taiwan or wherever else. So you want to be mindful of that if you're going to do drop shipping. Difficulty building a brand. That I have an asterisk, because sometimes you can build a brand with some of the products. Again, depends on what type of partnership you build, the relationship you have with them, that kind of stuff. And then legal liability issues. So again, if you don't know who your supplier is, if you're just working with someone willy-nilly, because sometimes some of these drop shipping companies, they just pop up. They haven't been around for years. They just pop up right before Q4 and whatever they sell or whatever they have available, the picture is one thing, and what they actually get, the customer receives in the mail, is a completely different one. A perfect example of that is Temu. There are so many videos of products that people have seen the video of what it is, and then when it actually arrives, it's something else. And Temu's returns are so high. But again, if you're drop shipping from a site like Temu, just be prepared to have a lot of problems, to have a lot of returns and a lot of refunds and all kinds of stuff, because they do some shady stuff over there. That's an example. You don't want to be shipping. You don't want to use them as your supplier. Trust me. Okay. So getting started in drop shipping, first you got to decide on which drop shipping type you want to do. Sometimes you can do mix and match. Like you can do a combination, doing some print on demand with some physical other products. So that way, you're combining maybe the different types of drop shipping or methods of drop shipping. You got to do some general research, just some general on what's happening. What are the products that are sometimes problematic? What are the products that sometimes have issues, so that you can make a decision on which way you want to go. I don't want to handle pet supplies, or maybe I don't want to handle anything that has to go on people's face. Or maybe I'm not doing makeup and creams and gels and all that other stuff because I just don't want to deal with, challenges of wrong color came in, so there's a lot of returns, or the cream made people break out, so then there's legal liability. So let me figure out what I maybe want to consider looking at. Okay. The next is to choose your niche. And I would say in choosing your niche, definitely niche down. So if you're going to go into clothing, maybe you go into infant clothing, or if you're going to go into shoes, maybe you specialize in women's shoes. Like it needs to be a niche, because women's shoes is a niche. Niching down means I'm going to go to women's shoes. I can niche down even more and go to women's nursing shoes. So again, niching down. If I'm going to go into clothes, I use the example clothes is a niche. Niching down would be girls' clothes. And maybe niching down even more would be little baby girls' clothes, like toddler, infant, whatever. So again, niching down is where you're going to potentially have the opportunity to make some money. So doing some research competitors, who's already selling what, when, how, all of that stuff. Finding suppliers. Finding suppliers is the biggest part of this, and working to, vet your suppliers. We have a whole vet your suppliers checklist thing. So you can say whether or not I really either want to do business with this company or not. And what do they require from me? Sometimes they vetting you. Sometimes they don't want new sellers. I can tell you that right now. You're either going to build a store or decide on your platform, and then you're going to start the process of promoting your products. Now, there's more to it than that, but those are the high level things. You do need to manage and monitor your business, manage and monitor what's happening, manage and monitor the relationship with your supplier, all of those things. But this is sort of the high level basics of getting into the game. So I think that drop shipping domestically is going to be where it's at. I think that is the mantra for the rest of 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028. And depending on what happens at the beginning of 2025, like that may be where you want to go. I will tell you that sometimes the prices for some of the products when you're drop shipping domestically, if they're made in the USA and if they're available in the USA, doesn't necessarily mean that they're made in the USA. So know the difference. So if they're available in the USA, that's one thing. If they're available and made in the USA, that's another. And so the prices in the US are going to be a little bit higher. But again, depending on what the product is that's being made, depending on how it's marketed, depending on a couple of different things, it may be worth it. So just putting it out there. I think prices are going to be whatever prices are going to be coming up. So with drop shipping domestically, you have the opportunity to build a relationship with whoever your suppliers or supplier is. If once you decide on what your niche is going to be, you have faster shipping. Again, AliExpress does have warehouses in the US. And so can they ship fast? Yep, they sure can. But the price may be marked up even more because of, tariffs that may be coming down the pike. So again, shipping in the US, you still have the opportunity to either, if it's already locally here, if it's already here in the US, or whether it is someone is making it here in the US, one or the other. Sometimes it's better quality products. Timo is a perfect example. Oh my God. I just cannot with some of the videos that just crack me up on what they receive. So again, in the US, you actually have the opportunity to go talk to your supplier. You can actually build a relationship, especially if you're in a town or near a town where they make, that they make products. I was driving today. There's a lot of places here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And there is a food supplier. They do snack foods. And again, they make them here. So I pull up and, you can get an account rep and have a whole conversation because you source from them. So not that there's anything that would probably be the problem, but again, potential for a better quality product. It can also help with your cash flow sometimes. So depending on, how quickly those funds can either be released to you or whatever you have to go through to, sometimes you have to hold cash, especially during Q4. You have to have upfront cash available to float products. And so I mentioned earlier about ordering in bulk versus drop shipping. Sometimes it's to your advantage, even with the Amazon fees, storage fees. Sometimes it may be to your advantage when you build that relationship to order in bulk from your supplier, send it into the Amazon warehouse, and just pay that difference there versus drop shipping, because there may be some fees, administrative fees with whoever the supplier is that you're working with. And, it can turn into something bigger. It can turn into a long-term relationship. I think the relationship that Becky has created with her person is just awesome because She's been selling or selling for that person since I feel like 2014, 2011, somewhere off in there. It's been a long time. And, she's doing all right. She's doing just fine. Her product sells all the time. And so sometimes it can evolve into something else. Maybe you can work with them to make your own product or brand your own product, build a brand, build a relationship, work with them on bundles. You just, again, building those types of relationships to your benefit. So is dropshipping right for you? You have to decide, but I can tell you, what can you sell? You can sell pretty much anything. You can sell almost on all the platforms, but you do need to do some research, and you can also create your own store. How many hours do you have to spend? You could go full time. You could do 40 hours if you wanted to. But, if you're going to start any type of business, you do have to set aside some dedicated time to focus on your business. So a minimum of 5 hours. What type of investment? You might have an investment. It might be $50. It might be $100. Just depends on what you're drop shipping. Because again, when they're fulfilling the order for you in advance, they got to get paid. So if there's the integration that's already in place, that's great. But you're still going to have sometimes returns and refunds. And what does that look like? When you do get paid, you do need to hold the money for a period of time. So, you might want to have some money. You could invest in software or maybe some VAs to do research for you, order some sample products, different platform fees. All of those could be part of your expenses. How much can you make? You can make as much as you want, but just know, depending on how you drop ship, your margins might be low, or you may find a unicorn and your margins might be amazing. So what skills do you need? You just need to be able to do research for sure. You need to look at the stats and the data, and you need to be patient for sure. In any selling of any type in e-commerce, you need to be patient. Okay. You may want to know a little bit about ads. That might also help you as well, if you're going to plan on running ads. So depends on what your strategy is going to be. As I mentioned before, all the pros and cons. So you have to decide if it is right for you. So I do want to let you know, we do have a workshop that is coming up. It's a dropshipping workshop. It is December the 14th at 10 a.m. We're going to take a deeper dive into dropshipping. We're going to talk about some strategies that can help you. All you need to do is you can go to usdropship.ecomsellers.com. Again, usdropship.ecomsellers.com to sign up for the paid workshop. It's a 2.5 hour workshop. And again, we're going to take a deeper dive. We're going to go through some of the wholesale suppliers. We're going to talk about some of them, what are the pros and cons, how to establish that relationship, what type of questions you should ask them, what type of information you should get from them, how to go through their products, how to do research on the products that are in their catalog list, and then figuring out how to calculate your profit. Like, we're just going to take a deep dive in all of it so you can figure out, okay, I think these 10 products are going to work for me. These 5 products are going to work for me, all of that stuff. So again, it's December the 14th at 10 a.m., which happens to be a Saturday. And it is $37. Plus you get a one-on-one coaching session with me as part of that class. So we can talk about whatever research you've uncovered, whether or not you feel like this product is a good one, whether or not it's feasible. We can talk about which suppliers, what type of questions the supplier asked you, and how do you answer those questions. We talk about partnerships. How do I forge a partnership with a supplier? So again, it's coming up on December the 14th at 7, and I invite you to join us on that workshop. So with that, I'm going to open it up to questions. I don't know if I lost anybody along the way. So I'll stop the recording.